second. Drink a little bit of coffee. I hope everybody is doing well. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Should be going live, I hope. Is it going live? Hopefully it's going live. There we go. All right. Good to see everybody. Happy Friday. Lots going on, and just glad to be at the end of the work week. I don't have to work tomorrow, and I'm actually heading up to Ohio Fish Rescue tomorrow. My plan is to get up hopefully early. I'm actually going to go pick up an Audi loaner car from work and drive that up, mainly just because I'm approaching the end of my lease on my truck. I mean, I still got, I don't know, 4 or 5 months left, but just to keep mileage off the truck and get something a little bit more fuel efficient, I'm going to pick up a loaner car and head up to OFR tomorrow. So hopefully I get an early start so I can get most of the day there. My dogs are going to be here, so I can't be there all day long, but I can at least hang out for a few hours. And I see OFR's here. Big Rich, what's going on, buddy? Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. And everybody else, the metalheads are there. So it's going to be tons of fun tomorrow, I hope. And, well, it's all, not that I hope, it's always fun up there. So, what's going on around here? Well, the first and biggest thing is the fertilizer is back in stock as of tonight. I got home from work and the case was sitting on the porch. And so if you're subscribed to the emails, you would got an email a few hours ago. You had first dibs at it. And now YouTube knows. I know there's people that have been waiting for the fertilizer, but it's back available. It's on the website. And I think I got around 30 bottles of it. So not sure how long that will last. You know, a lot of people said they've been waiting for it. We'll see how quickly it sells. You know, part of me is like, I hope it sells out quick and then I can order more. And then, you know, part of me is like, well, maybe I can stretch out how long I can keep it in stock. But either way, I'm happy either way. But it's back in stock. Products, if you're subscribed to my email, I sent out kind of an update on SC Aquatics earlier in this week. And basically, here's what's going on. Products are on order. They're in the mail somewhere, coming from a couple different wholesalers. And I think there's just over 30 different products coming back into stock that have been sold out. And there's a few new ones coming into stock that I'm going to offer, and I'm trying to remember what they all are. I know one's Vitachem, so if you want to add vitamins and minerals to your fish food, I did have some requests for that. So I am bringing on Vitachem. I'm bringing on 3 different sizes of the AquaTop power heads. So if you're trying to get more flow through your tank, if you're trying to hook it up to like a sponge filter, if you're trying to make like a waterfall, you know, there's a lot of uses for a power head. I actually use power heads to do water changes. And my not flow through, but my fry rack system with the 10-gallon sump and all the little tanks, that uses a power head to pump the water. And that pumps it up, maybe 6 feet, 6 feet high. So, you know, there's a lot of uses for power heads, so I'm bringing some of those on. And then heaters, that's been the biggest one that I haven't been able to keep in stock, and mainly it's just because they're not available at the wholesalers. For the last couple of years, I've been selling the Via Aqua heaters. I've had really good luck with them, no negative feedback on them, but I just can't get them right now. And it was one of the products that were, out of all the brands of heaters, and name brands, not talking Chinese Yin Yang brand on eBay, but name brands, it was the very cheap end of the scale and super reliable. Well, can't get them, so I had to change up. I'm switching my inventory to the Eheim Jaeger series. I did a community post asking you guys what heaters you use, what you like, and what you've had luck with, and it seems to be the Jaeger series is the go-to. It is a little bit more expensive than the Via Aquas, but it does pick up an extra feature compared to what I've been selling now, is it has out-of-water protection. And in my community post, I mentioned That's the only failure I've ever had, was actually doing a water change. I lowered the water too far. I've actually done it twice. Lowered the water too far and the heater was too high in the tank. Heater came out of the tank or out of the water, gets super hot, and then when I filled it back up, it cracked the glass. But these have that protection built into them, so it might be a little bit more money, but it gives you a little bit extra safety, so it's kind of a win-win, I guess. But anyways, I have over 30, I know I just said 30 products, but I have over 30 of those heaters coming in various wattages. So those are coming. What else was new? There was some other stuff that's new. Oh, instant baby brine. If you don't know what that is, it's basically, instead of hatching baby brine and feeding it, which is what I do, the company, which is from, oh no, why am I forgetting the name of the company? Ocean Nutrition, maybe? They basically hatch it and then bottle it. And what's cool is it doesn't need to be refrigerated until you open it. So you get this little jar, it's full of millions of baby brine that's already hatched, deshelled, ready to go. You can open it, take a little scoop, put it in your fish tanks, and then you don't have to worry about hatching baby brine. You don't have to worry about like salt water and then the 24 to 48 hours, however long your hatch rate is. This is going to be really good for people with maybe one tank or a handful of tanks where you don't want to really have the hassle of hatching baby brine. So it's just an option, and I'm bringing that on. I'm only bringing a few on just to see how they sell, because I didn't want to order like 50 of them and then never sell them. But I did bring it on because I look at it this way: if they never sell, it's something I'll use. It'll save me time from hatching baby brine. But so that's another product, and I feel like I'm missing another one. But some other products that I normally stock that have been out of stock is methylene blue. So that was kind of like one of those sketchy things where I heard they were going to stop producing it, so I ordered what was available, which wasn't that many, and then they've been sold out. Well, guess what? The wholesalers have hundreds of them, so I went ahead, got more methylene blue on the way, and that's going to be for the breeders that really use it. I use that on my Corydoras eggs. Anyways, I want to stop for a second, hop in the chat. I hope everybody's doing well. Chevy Fish, one of my moderators, was, well, I was going to say the first comment, but I'm on top chat. Let me get off that. Yep, nope. Chevy Fish was the first one to comment and drop in the website, 614fish.com. Thank you for doing that. And, yeah, so good to see you. Von Yenzer, Metalhead Prime, Ken, 603, Livin, Catherine, Sue Ann, everybody. I should try to stop naming off everybody because these live streams are getting more and more people every week, which is awesome. But I just like hanging out with you guys. Josh Price is here. Love you, bud. See you tomorrow. Josh, I hope you're still watching this. That super chat I sent you about getting the engineering degree on eBay. I'm sure you know what it is, but if you guys were in OFR stream and saw that, Josh posted on Facebook that his company or his job, he works for the city of Cleveland, is looking for some engineers, and did anybody want a job? And I was like, me. So he texted me, he's like, do you have an engineering degree? I'm like, no, I was just kind of joking. I'm like, I have an IT degree. So the super chat tonight was, I bought an engineering degree on eBay, so that way I can go work with Josh. It was just kind of an inside joke. I don't know if anybody caught that, but that's what that was. Matt F. with the 614 super chat. I appreciate you, bud. If you're an SC Aquatics fan, super chat 614. Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Chevy Fish. You're saying hi to everybody, okay. Texas Fish Room, good to see you. Texas Fish Room. Like I just said, I have heaters on the way. So I did get billed from the wholesaler. I have two different wholesalers for depending on what products. They're like wholesaler A has some products that wholesaler B doesn't carry. And so wholesaler A shipped and I got a tracking number for that order. Wholesaler B, which is actually like a really big wholesaler, doesn't, it's a gripe of mine of their website to order stuff. You select what you want, you click order, and you get a confirmation, but that's it. You don't get a tracking number. You don't even know when it ships. It's really, really annoying. But I did check my bank account, and they did charge me. So, but they charged me less than what my total order was. So something wasn't in stock, and they have live inventory. But by the time I place the order, and then they get to the fulfilling of it, inventory changes. So we'll see what shows up. But I did get a bunch of heaters on the way. Order medications, fish foods, all sorts of stuff. Alright, so what else is new? So I mentioned the 614 fur. That's the big thing. It's back in stock. Super excited. The other thing is I had somebody reach out to me. If you guys need to contact me, my email is sales@614fish.com. They reached out to me. They breed fish, shrimp, and snails locally to me, fairly close, and they're interested in selling me their goods, their fish, their livestock, basically, for me to sell. And I always will talk to hobbyists that are local about buying their products, and I've always said if it's financially a good deal, I will do it. So they sent me their price list, and most of the stuff is got good pricing. Some of the stuff was kind of high. You might think like $1 or $2 extra, like more than what I'm paying now. Doesn't seem like a lot per fish or whatever. But when you're talking a fish that maybe like is $2 and they want $4, that's a big percentage difference. Not that that's what the difference was, but just kind of working on pricing. But it looks like I'll be possibly, we just started talking about this today, but they're breeding some Neocaridina shrimp that I'm interested in, because I sell shrimp like crazy, and I can't keep up with shrimp sales with what I'm breeding as of right now. That might change once the garage fish room gets built. So I might use them as another source of locally bred shrimp. It's the same water, so they're bringing it instead of me in my tank, so it's very similar. So I'm looking at doing that, but the biggest thing I'm interested in is they're doing a bunch of goodyids. I've never kept any before. I did reach out to Greg Sage. It was probably not last fall, but the fall before, right before the pandemic happened. And I was looking at trying to get some green dragons and some goodyids. And the goodyids were available, but he was waiting on the green dragons. And then they were supposed to come available like a couple months later, but then the pandemic happened, and I just kind of honestly forgot about it. But he's got some goodyids that he's been breeding, so I'm interested in those. And that's probably something I'll bring on in the future and see how they sell. But we'll see. Josh Price says, Steven, I can't super chat. I'm locked out of my Google account. Josh, how do you keep getting locked out of everything? I feel like you get hacked like every month or something. But we need to change your password and stop using pumpkin1. Like, that's not a good password for you, Josh. Just kidding, guys. But Josh, no super chat needed from you, bud. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll try to remember the computer. Actually, I need to charge it tonight, so I'm going to try to charge it tonight, so that way it's ready to go for tomorrow. Melhead Prime with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. 614, get you some. Yes, I need to make it to where like a super chat pops up, like this image goes like across the screen. That'd be kind of cool. But I am drinking coffee tonight. If I'm talking fast, it's probably why. And if you have any questions or any kind of comments or whatever, don't forget to tag me. If you tag me, it shows up easier. IHSP, good to see ya. Did you get more than one size of those baby brine shrimp? It only came in one size, or at least they only offer one size. If you mean like jar size, they only offered one size at that wholesaler. And then honestly, this wholesaler is usually a lot cheaper than my other wholesaler, so I'd even look at the second wholesaler. But it'd be cool if it came in like a gallon size, so you could take like a big spoon here, a big spoon. It doesn't look that big, I guess. It's a half teaspoon, I think, and just start dumping baby brine into all the tanks. Every tank I feed brine to, every tank loves baby brine. And so I try to order, like, if I'm doing like a low inventory count just to see how things move, I might bring in like 5 units of it. But I think I brought in 6 because I want to use one myself and see if it's going to be more productive for me to just use the instant baby brine, instead of hatching it. You know, long run, hatching it's cheaper, but just opening a jar and just being able to pull that baby brine out, especially for the Vienna guppy tank, because that's the one I'm hitting the hardest with baby brine to keep them producing, keeping the females fat and happy. It might be something that I switch off of the live baby brine. If you guys know, I use the Zis hatchery, so it's a nice setup. But it's just work with, you know, I clean it between uses, setting the salt water. Although I have the salt water down to where I know how much of a scoop to put in. I don't measure the salinity level of the tank anymore, of not the tank, but the hatchery. It's like 1 full scoop of like a spoon I have out there. So I mean, I could do it quickly. It's not like a ton of work. But, you know, opening a jar and pulling out some ready to go baby brine is a lot quicker than hatching baby brine out. Evan Cardwell says, at SEO Quacks, any update on the shrimp tank? Yeah, so actually I was thinking about that tonight, about doing an update video. Like, it's only been 2 weeks, so what I might start doing is recording video at like now, and then over the next week or so, and kind of put it together in one video, instead of doing like a short update, kind of just put it all together. So right now, actually, let's just look at it. And this is what, like week 2? I'm gonna flip you guys around. Hopefully it's coming in okay. So here's what's going on. We're getting algae on the sides. Now the front of this tank isn't bad, but you can see it, like when you're looking down the glass, you can see the algae. Now the thing is, I could scrape this, but the tank's going through its basically settling phase. This tank was pretty much empty for like at least a year, and now I've been feeding it because of the shrimp. And can we see any shrimp? So there's a shrimp. Guys, it's going to focus on the glass, isn't it? There's a shrimp. Oh, that's even worse. Sorry, guys. You can see one. Oh, there you go. On the back glass. And usually they're up here in the front, but they're so dark blue, it's kind of hard to see them. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see them. If I kick the light on, you'd be able to see them better. Anyways, the ram's horns from the video, you can see the baby ram's horns are getting bigger. And once they get a little bit bigger, they'll take care of the algae. But everything needs to kind of settle. So I want to do an update video that I think at this stage, people will start freaking out like, oh my gosh, the tank looks terrible. Well, the tank's got to kind of catch up, and everything will equalize out with the algae and everything. I'm not dosing fertilizer in this tank right now. This is just from adding fish food. You know, the shrimp are in there. Oh, there's a shrimp right there. I don't even know if this is in focus on the computer, but you know, they're in there. I swear, they're in there. But you know, this is, you know, 2 weeks in, and I could lower the light settings. It's not at 100%. It's around 50% light. It is a Fluval 3.0 Nano, so Fluval lights are powerful, but the nice thing about the 3.0s is you can dial the intensity back. So in a couple weeks, you know, the algae will start going away, the ram's horns will keep the glass clean, and the shrimp will be breeding, and it'll get better and better. Where'd he go? There's one down there. But yeah, they're in there, I swear. So, I mean, it's doing good. The tank's doing good. It doesn't look like it, especially if you never had shrimp or set up a new plant tank. But you have that kind of, that waiting period. You know, the first few weeks, everything's got to kind of catch up. You know, these plants are shooting off a lot of new growth. Let me show you that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So the real light green, that's brand new growth. So even like the crypts are shooting off new growth. You can see these roots are shooting up. So the plants are catching up now. or they're trying to catch up. Get back in there. Okay. So, it just takes a little bit of time, and then after everything kind of settles and balances out, the tank will be crystal clear and everything will be good. I did take the sponge filter off once and I wrung it out. I didn't clean out the hang on back or anything like that, but I just wanted to kind of get the gunk out of the sponge filter. And that's with that zip tie that's on there. It's real easy. Just slide it off, wring it out in the faucet, and put it back on. Super easy tank to maintain. And I am trying to still catch out the little pieces of duckweed that have kind of hung in there to keep them from going crazy. Because if I didn't touch it, the tank top would get covered, which is good because the shrimp will graze on the bottom side of the duckweed. But it's just kind of unsightly having a whole tank covered, because I have tanks out in the fish room that are covered in duckweed. But they serve their purpose. They're going to help pull out the extra nitrates. And when the tank really gets covered, it actually helps cut down evaporation, especially on a rimless tank like this. The negative, though, is they start blocking out the light to the plants, and these crypts will really start taking off now that they got full access to light. Because these are the same plants that were in there. I didn't add new plants to this tank. These were in the tank for a year with really not much light and really no crazy fertilizers going on. So that's kind of like the update on that. So hopefully in a couple weeks it'll look really good. And I'm trying not to scrape the glass because I don't want to have it be false where it's like, man, this is a bad A looking tank. But really what I'm doing is I'm covering everything up for video. I don't want to do that. I want it to naturally balance itself out. And it will. Oh, my chat just jumped. Let me get back up real quick. Tiffany White's here. Hello. Tiffany said you are talking fast. Sorry, guys. The caffeine kicked. I was excited for this live stream. You have no idea how excited I was to get this back in. And then I slammed some coffee right before it started. Caffeine. And Josh Price, where'd it go? Salford Lad said, at Josh Price, enjoy the stream. Thanks for answering my questions. Look forward to seeing you in Ohio. Gooch. I almost super chat, instead of the engineering degree, I was going to super chat that Josh has been using the tanning bed out in the fish room because, he just got back from Florida. Let's see. Evan said at SC, definitely seeing all the snails. They will help with the algae, correct? Yes. So pond snails or pest snails, in my experience, really don't help much with algae. The best one I have experienced is nearite snails, and those are awesome. Like if you're trying to do a shrimp only tank, nearite snails are sweet because they don't reproduce in fresh water. So you could buy 2 or 3. They are the best cleaners. Their little teeth just go nuts on algae. So they're super awesome, and that's something I don't have right now in stock to sell. Actually, I haven't had those in a long time, but I need to bring those in. But ram's horns, they reproduce super quick, and I use them for my pea puffer, and I put them in all my tanks. So I like ram's horns, and they're like, if I had to put nearites as the best, maybe pest snails is the worst. Ram's horns are like middle to upper of the pack. Josh Price said, don't hate the tan. You're looking good, bud. You're looking good. So yeah, I mean, they will keep the plants clean, the glass, and the substrate, everything. Like, snails are awesome. Snails are really good for aquariums. Most people don't like looking at snails, but they're actually really good for an aquarium, and especially with feeding. If you overfeed fish or shrimp tanks, the snails are going to eat that extra food. So they're definitely they're good. Sulfur Lad said, nice crypts, thanks. They would be a little bit bigger if I was giving them love over the last year. Sherry Fish says, work in progress, balance takes time. It does take some time. Texas Fish Room said, I'm now fighting algae from my new light setup on my rack, but just a weekend. Yep, it's one of those things that when you change anything, mainly lighting, It's either lighting or livestock. One of those two things are the major contributors to your algae bloom or growth rates. It's just a balancing act, and eventually it'll balance out and it'll be good. The Corydoras tank, we'll walk out there and show you the pepper cory breeding group / emerald green breeding group, the big fatty cories. Their tank started getting some hair algae. So probably 2 nights ago, I decided to take a couple of mono shrimp out of another tank and put it in that tank to help clean up algae, because the Corydoras, that's the only thing that's in that tank is Corydoras. And it's an extremely high light tank. You know, Corydoras aren't going to eat that algae, and there are ram's horns in there, but they're just not going to be able to keep up. So I'm like, I'll put some mono shrimp in there for the string algae or hair algae. Well, the Amanos are afraid of the Corydoras, so they won't come out. They kind of hide in the corners, and now we got Havana here. So they kind of hide in the corners. You know, they could be out at night eating while the Corydoras are kind of chilling, but yeah, I didn't realize the Amanos, because the Amanos are so big in the other tanks compared to what's in there, but once they're next to these ginormous Corydoras, they're little scaredy cats. But yeah. Tank Top Tropics, 99-cent super sticker. Thank you so much. Got the sunglasses on. It was sunny here the other day. It was so nice. It's warming up, which is cool. I'm sure we'll probably get snow here soon. Who knows? Fish and Shrimp by Rich at SC. Call Haley on the fur. Haley has my fertilizer in the gallon size. She uses it so much she actually gets it by the gallon. That's something I don't sell. That's actually for internal business use. I use it here to refill my bottles. I still use the pump top bottles, but the gallon is just to refill them. But that's what she currently has, is the gallon size. Because she grows a ton of plants, so I'm sure she goes through fertilizer fairly quickly. Let me get to the bottom. Shaggy Fish at SC, any clown killies on the to get or in stock list? Yes. And by yes, I mean on the to get list. So I do have a list of fish that I want to bring in, and I brought it. I've had clown killies before, and they sold really well. I haven't ordered any fish in a long time with the whole pandemic thing going on. But now we're kind of getting back into shipping season. I'm ready to ship out fish that I've been sitting on for 6 months now, especially everything that's new over the last few months. But clown killies, they're very popular. I love them. I love the look of them. And they're a great top water section tank fish. So if you have a tank that you got something that's doing really well in the mid water, you got your Corydoras on the bottom, you want something in the top, clown killies are awesome. You do need a lid because they will jump, but they are awesome little guys. If you guys don't know a clown killie, it's look up a rocket killie. They're these awesome little killifish, and their tails look like a rocket booster. Super awesome. Catherine says, how often do you use root tabs? Not very often. I am testing the ones I made, and that's going on in this tank back here. And like a week ago, if you asked me, I would have said, don't know if they're doing anything, I need to revise. Because I wrote down, I have my cheat sheet here. This is my ingredients and my percentages of what I did on this batch. I did the graphing so that way I can look at it and know what's in this root tab. And I gotta test it. Well, root tabs, especially since I haven't been using them on this tank, I put one. I really should have did more. You're supposed to do them in a grid pattern. I put one root tab by this plant over here in this corner. I don't know how easily that's showing up. because it was about half the size of this plant. And I think that's all because this plant's directly under the light, and this plant is at a slant angle. A week ago, I was like, I mean, it's growing, but the other one is growing just the same amount. Well, this week, it might be a little hard. So, this plant has more stems, but it came in like that. It's not like it's new stems. This plant is how it came in, and it's just growing from there. But this plant is growing, I don't want to say quicker, but it's catching up. And it's in less, technically a little bit less light because of the angle. So I think it's helping. This is probably like week three, or maybe almost week 4. But I only used one root tab, and I didn't put it like right at the base. I put it out a little bit, so I don't even know if like the roots are actually getting all the way to it, or maybe like one runner did. But it does look like it is working. Now, how well it's working, I don't know. So what I need to do is I'm going to give it probably a couple more weeks. And once I know that root tab's probably been exhausted, and then I'm going to do the grid pattern that I should do and put, one on both sides, one on the side of it, and do another 3-week, 4-week test and see, is there something I need to change? Because right now I'm thinking I already know of one revision I want to do to what's in this root tab. And I think the main thing I want to do is cut down on the calcium that's in the root tab and kind of add some other nutrients in. I think I'm just running too much calcium in this root tab. But we'll see. It's kind of playing with it to get a good formula down. It's kind of like the formula on the 614 FERT. This is like rock solid formula. This is what I use. Haley, I mean, I swear I'm not paying Haley. I don't send her money to say 614 fertilizer. She really, truly loves this stuff. And, many people buy this, and I've had really good feedback on it. Like, there's nothing I want to change on this at all. And if I were going to change it, I would change it on this order before they just bottled me 30 of them. But the root tabs, it's a work in progress. I gotta get the formula down to where I think it's a winner. And then if it's something I want to sell, I gotta get one of those loading. You know what? I bought a loading machine. That sucker never came. What I'm thinking about, I'm logging into my eBay because I ordered one on eBay. I'm gonna be salty if that thing. I could have swore I told it to come from purchase history. I'm glad I just thought of that. Purchase history. How do I have 0 purchase history? Well, that's awesome. Buy again? Nope. Apparently, maybe. No, I'm pretty sure I ordered it from eBay. So say maybe I ordered it from Amazon, but I'm almost positive. Whatever. I'll look for it later. Anyways, let me get back in the chat. I see my name is tagged a lot. So Chris asks Josh Price, what is the ETA on the saltwater setup video? Can't wait to learn with OFR. Josh Price replied, as a wise man once told me, stay tuned. Gotta keep you on the hook so you keep coming back. Kel Bell says, such a gorgeous dog. Thank you. She's my love. Evan said, do you have a cichlid or have tiger barbs? I don't have tiger barbs. I currently don't have any. That is a local fish that I can get from the wholesaler. And then as far as cichlids, the only thing I have as far as cichlid goes is like the black convicts. I used to keep like electric blue acara and parrot cichlids, but as far as that, I don't have any. I mean, I can get pretty much any fish of like that nature through my wholesaler, my local wholesaler. And I special order if it's available, like more rare stuff online. My local wholesaler is like real basic fish. If you go into like a basic pet store, this wholesaler has like those fish. If you're trying to get like certain lines or certain collection points, that's not this place. Multi-tank addiction. Any suggestions on dechlorinating larger tanks such as a 500 gallon? Yes, let's go take a walk. I'm going to show you how I dechlor. I don't even know how many gallons I'm at now. I used to keep track. 1,000 gallons worth of tanks. Something. I don't have big tanks. I just have a ton of tiny tanks. I dechlor all the tanks the same way, and I don't use dechlor. And it's very inexpensive, and I'll show you. Flip. So there's one of my storage barrels. There's my other storage barrels. All these tanks, plus the tanks in the house using a garden hose. I dechlor using it's called a whole house filter. The first one is just a sediment filter. It's that, come on, zoom in. That white looking thing, or tannish, whitish tan. All that does is filter particles. The second one is called a carbon block filter. It's basically carbon. Super inexpensive to set this up. I just have it plumbed in with PVC. Comes over, washer and dryer, and it's that line to my feed. This is just cold water, so you would need like a mixing valve if you don't do what I do, but it's just straight off a tap. The carbon removes the chlorine. But like big fish rooms, you'll hear like carbon block systems. That's what that is. And then it fills up this tank. The line just goes inside, fills it up. To move water to this tank, because once I added these fish tanks, this was not enough water to do water changes on everything. So I needed a second tank. This sump right here, so that's just like a house sump pump with this garden hose with a Python hook. I just come over here, I hook that onto that, and then this valve right here, where is it? Right there. I open that, water flows in, fills up that bucket. There's a float switch, that's what that black round thing is. And it's about to kick on here any second, right there. And now it's pumping water to that tank. So that's how I fill up that tank. Turn that off. Originally I designed this not even for like this system. I wanted a way to fill up 5-gallon buckets using my dechlorinated water from up there. So, this might be useful information. It's currently 81 degrees and 39% humidity in here. Squirrel. Anyway, sorry guys. Because I was changing water in the house using 5-gallon buckets before I did this whole setup. I needed extra water for that, and when I was at it, I knew I had to get the water from this tank into all these tanks. So there's a sump pump in there, and this is a 100-foot garden hose with my homemade Python hook. And that's how I fill up the tanks in here and in the house. Show you fish. Squirrel. I'm telling you guys, it's a real issue that I got with the squirrels around here, and Haley's got an issue with squirrels too. Oh, let's look at the breeding cories. So these guys are big. You know, you can never get the size of a fish on video. These guys they're full blown, full size, whatever. Anyways, the Rams horns, they're trying to do work on the glass. It's hard to keep up because this is extremely high light tank, because it's actually supposed to be growing corals. This is Christmas moss under extreme light. It stays very compact, which is pretty cool looking. But I'm starting to get like hair algae and stuff. So I was like, all right, let me put a couple of monos in here. They'll take care of it. Well, the monos, let me see if I can find them. There's one up there. Sorry, I scared the cories and they just kicked up a bunch of sand. There's one up there, and the other one usually is over here. Right here on the wood. Sorry, it's dirty, and there's eggs. But he's right there. So I don't know if they're coming out at night, but I'm going to give it another day or two because I don't want to leave the Amanos in here if they never come out at all. I'm assuming they probably come out at night, but I don't know. But I don't want to starve them, so we'll see how they do in a day or two. If not, I'll move them back to the other tank. But I'm hoping they'll realize that the Corys are not going to murder them, and they'll start coming out. But the Corys are like 50 times their size. And, yeah, I was going to show you the baby Pleco because I found his hiding spot, but I don't see him right this second, so I don't want to show you right this second. All right, get you back. Zen Ginger, I caught it right before it disappeared. Let me get to that. Oh my God, Steven, the Christmas moss tree is taking over and fills up almost half of the 5-gallon tank now. I'm telling you, the Christmas moss is the best freaking moss ever. I've had Java moss before, and it grew, but not very well. This Christmas moss, whatever strain of Christmas moss I got, is awesome. It grows so well. And it all started off with like a 3x3 inch mat of it. Like when I first made my first shrimp tank. So it's been like 3 years now, I think. And it's in every single fish tank now, pretty much. That stuff is awesome. Anyways, let me get back up because I do see my name. Answer that. So yeah, multi-tank addiction, whole house filters. They're super cheap. I got mine off Amazon. And I'm looking it up just to see how much it is. And I just got like the single units. I just put 2 of them together. I don't know the name of the brand. It wasn't like any crazy brand name, but it looks like they're between 20 and 40 bucks depending on your brand that you get. If you get like a super name brand. And then the replacement filters. So this one is a 4-pack of 1 micron carbon filters. 4 of them is $29. And I'm trying to think how long I went before I changed. I went 1.5 years before I changed my first carbon filter. Because I don't use a ton of water. I don't water change like every day. I'm not water changing, 500 gallons a day. I'd say when I do my water changes, I'm probably changing out maybe 1.5 barrels worth of water. So if it's a 55-gallon drum, I might be changing out 80 gallons of water when I do water change, which might be once a week or so. So, I don't really tax it. But you can change it out every 6 months if you wanted to. But if you think about 29 bucks for 4 of them, it's a lot cheaper than buying a bunch of Dechlor all the time, especially with 500-gallon tank. But if you're only trying to do that one tank to Dechlor, you can even make like a little mobile filter. You don't have to mount it on the wall. You could put garden hose ends on it, hook up a garden hose to one end. You have like a sediment filter, your carbon filter, and then like have a hook or even another filter. And then whenever you need to do a water change on a 500-gallon tank, you could use that. Or you can mount it on the wall and go from there. And if you don't have like a mixing valve, you could always do like how I have. Basically, it's a faucet with like a garden hose 2-way splitter. You could really manually split it. You would have a little bit of wastewater. You open a little bit hot, a little bit of cold, and get the temperature where you need it, and then fill up your tank. But that's why I fill up the barrels. That was the whole point of the barrel systems, is so I don't have to have a hot water. I didn't want to like empty my hot water tank to do water changes. So what I do is I pump water into those barrels. Those barrels heat up to room temperature. And during winter, it takes longer because the tap water is super cold. So it probably takes, 1.5 days, maybe 2 days to go from ice cold to room temperature on the water. In the summer, it's like I do my water changes, I fill them up. Next day, I could do a water change again if I wanted to. But yeah, the whole house filter is the way to go if you're doing a lot of water changes. If you have chlorine in your water. Okay, next. Josh Bryan said multi-tank addiction, API tap water conditioner, or safe or prime. So I probably have some. Sure. So everybody knows API tap water conditioner. I sell it, but I am probably phasing API out and bringing on more of the Friiiiiiday products. I like the Friiiiiiday marketing better because when you got like a hobbyist, you got these roseline sharks, Friiiiiiday Complete. Like which one, let's be honest, they're both the same product. They both do the same thing, right? But which one looks better? I'm telling you, the Friiiiiiday is on their A game with their labeling. Same product. This one just looks better, and therefore it sells better. It's marketing. You know, with trying to run a business, they both do what they need to do. They're both good products, but when it comes to marketing, people are preferring the Friiiiiiday, and I get it. This looks like 1990, and this looks like 2020. You know what I mean? So I am probably going to start phasing out the tap water conditioner and just selling, because I sell them both right now. It's kind of like appeasing both people, but I'll probably be using the Friiiiiiday Complete solely once the rest of the API stuff sells out. Tank Top Tropics. At SC, what size tank is behind you, and is that fern or sword? Those are swords. This is my sword grow out. So when I import, I don't want to say import because they're actually Florida. When I wholesale in plants from Florida, pretty much any person that sells plants, they're immersed grown, they're grown above water, their roots are in water. That's how they grow them super quick to be able to keep up with demand. Well, the plants melt. So I put the swords in this tank to convert them or grow them until they sell. So if you order a sword plant from me, you're getting one of these guys. So these two in the background, those are ones for this tank. Like, they're not coming out. Unless somebody was like, hey, I'll give you $50 for it. And then, all right, cool, I'll sell you this plant. But, you know, if you order a sword, you're getting, I don't know, there's 5 in here or something that are for sale. They come out of this tank. So I try to convert everything, and then, oh, that's a good story. So I ran into a problem with that. So plants come in, they look all nice and huge, right? Because they're grown immersed, they're grown in air, and, you know, if you were to get a plant and immediately sell it, it just dies off. It's called melting. Well, that's normal, and then it grows back immersed. Well, I try to convert everything as much as possible before I sell it. I just sold some dwarf hairgrass that when they come in, they look super like tall and really thick. Same amount of plants, but it went immersed grown under high light, sitting here waiting to be bought. So like it was super short, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this looks terrible. Like the picture, like it looks like you're getting a ton, but it's deceiving because it's immersed grown, so it looks like actual grass from your front yard. And like when I shipped it, I'm like, man, I need to write this person a letter. Like, I know it looks like there's nothing here, but like you take the rock wool apart, it's still probably, let's say like, I don't know, 10 plants in that one pot. It just looks so tiny because it all converted, and it's a smaller compact version. I'm like, so I got to watch that with the dwarf hairgrass because the other plants aren't too bad, other than the other one that I've had not issues with, but is the red melon sword, because it kind of comes in green, like these plants. These are just regular green swords, so they come in green, and usually like when I sell them, they're already converting over. Well, I had one that somebody bought, I think it was last week, and I went to pull out of the tank, and it fully converted, so it was like really small, but it was all red, which was nice. But I'm like, man, like this sucks because, you know, the picture makes it look a little bit bigger. in the plant, like they're going to get the box and be like, man, this thing's tiny, but it's fully converted, so they can just put it in their tank, and it might melt a little bit, but it doesn't have to do that full melt off. So hopefully they're experienced and they're going to know, like, man, this thing's converted, ready to rock. But I just feel bad, like when, the plant isn't like as big as you think it would be. The good thing is it's converted, like that's a good thing, but to a person it might look like, oh man, like he didn't tell me what the picture was. But yeah, yep, I don't know what I'm talking about now. Squirrel. There you go. So Josh says it's the most practical when we do a water change. That's what we use, but we usually rely on our drip, which runs through a carbon block at over 2,000 gallons a day. Do you add 2,000 gallons of water to your system a day, or it filters 2,000 gallons a day? That's a lot. Either way. Let's keep rolling. Just trying to read the chat to see if there's anything I'm missing. I think I'm good. Josh is saying good night. Good night, Josh. I'm sure you're gone because this was probably a while ago. Oh, you know what? It's not showing me the timestamps. Usually I can see like how far back I am in the time or in the chat, but it's not showing me that. Whatevers. Keep moving. Evan says at SC Christmas moss, is it a carpeting moss or does it stay in a small area? It does not stay in a small area. It grows like a bush. It's very stringy, like it just kind of grows out. If you take like a little ball of it, like a ping pong ball, eventually it will turn into a basketball. If it stays like in one spot, it just kind of grows out. I use it in all my tanks, but under extreme high light, it goes super compact and tight growth to where it looks like an aquascape treetop. That's what that tank was I just showed. That's it in its like extreme high light setting. Under normal aquarium lights, it's kind of bushy, stringy. It's good for fry. It's good for fish that want to scatter eggs. You can kind of keep it matted down on the bottom of a tank with like rocks and stone, and fish will scatter their eggs in it. That's how I bred the melanite cories, was they put their eggs into the moss instead of on glass, which was super cool. Catherine says, will snails eat black hair algae that's been there for a couple weeks? In my experience, no. So I had some blackbeard algae in my 25 gallon like a long time ago, and I believe the way I got rid of it was just by physically removing it. I know you can treat it with hydrogen peroxide, and the way you do that is use like an eyedropper. I don't have a loose one. I have my 4-pack. I sell these on the website. It's a 4-pack. Comes in a sealed bag like this. 4 eyedroppers. You put some hydrogen peroxide in this dropper. Put it in the tank where the blackbeard algae is, and you dose the blackbeard algae. It'll kill it. I believe it turns to like a pink color, pinkish color, then it'll die off, or you physically remove it. When I had it, I didn't know about the hydrogen peroxide thing, so I just removed it from the tank. And the way I did that was a long time ago. I tried the sweet potato thing where you put a sweet potato halfway in the water and it grows roots in your tank. And it did that, and it shoots out like a nice vine, and I had it kind of going across my fireplace mantle. It was really cool. Well, eventually, the plant kind of started dying, and that's when I got the blackbeard algae. So I don't know if the plant was dying and I got the algae, or if the algae caused the plant to die. Either way, it was kind of the same time. And blackbeard algae can be like from a flow issue. I can't remember if it's too low flow or too high flow. But anyways, the plant was like looking kind of raggedy, so I just took it out, and it took all the blackbeard algae, and I never had it since. Um, Zen Ginger said, no, if you attach Christmas moss onto the top of something like driftwood, but place it under the downfall of the hang-on back filter, it will sweep out and grow down and out like weeping moss. That's pretty cool. I have it in a hang-on back breeder box on my axolotl tank because I want to get some more nitrates pulled out of the axolotls, and that's been set up basically since day one. And it was also a way for me to test a breeder box. I think that one might be Ista brand, which I didn't like their uplift tube. I think as far as air power go, Marina's got the best breeder box. Their uplift tube is super awesome. That's what's in my fish room. But on the axolotl tank, I think it's Ista brand, and it just doesn't flow as much water as I was hoping. But I just put Christmas moss in that. And what's cool is the Christmas moss starts growing out the overflow of the breeder box back into the tank. It just looks really cool. Matt Reed said, hey Steven, should I rehome a couple of my goldfish? They are young and there are 3 of them. I have 55 gallon. If they're fancy goldfish, 3 of them in 55 would be just fine. It comes down to water quality, but I have 2 fancy goldfish, a kissing gourami, a bunch of Daniels, and a 75, and they all do great. But if I had 3 fancy tails, and this is a 55, it would be no issue. Now, if they're like comets or like shubunkins or something like that, you would want to rehome them before, unless you plan on getting a pond. Comet goldfish can get up to over a foot long. I don't know their max size. I don't know if it's like 14 inches, but I know they can hit easily a foot. Something like that. But if it's a fancy tail goldfish, 3 of them in a 55 will be fine as long as you keep it filtered. And people say they are messy eaters. I believe that's not really the term, or dirty fish. They eat everything, including poop. So they just, like my 75 never has any detritus on anything. Like they do a really good job at eating all the food and then re-eating the food to where it's like nothing in the tank. So just water quality, just keep up with it. But as far as like filtration, you don't have to have like crazy filtration. You just need to keep the water quality high. So, gravel would be best because with sand, they're constantly spitting sand out, which is what I have mine with. And that kind of clouds the water when they get a little aggressive with the sand filtering. But it's fun to watch them go through the sand, so that's why I got it. But, yep. Then Ginger said, I found out accidentally by putting a floating moss ball under mine, and it covers a castle and driftwood now. It looks really nifty. Catherine says, I'm going to get some Christmas moss and try that. Grab Christmas moss if you want. You can grab it from your local store, but if you want to buy it from me, it's always for sale on my website. I think it's on sale for like $3.99 or $2.99 right now, which I really should be selling it for like $5 or $6 for the bag I'm selling, but I think it's like $2.99 or $3.99 right now. Oh wait, I just saw something about comets. Where did that go? Matt Reed, I have 3 comet goldfish around 3 months old and 29 long. I have a 55 gallon for them. Should I rehome them or will 55 be fine? Okay, so I didn't read that part. So the comets will eventually get too big for the 55. If they're in a 29 long right now, you could hold on to them for a while until they just get too big for your 55. But eventually you will have to rehome them. But if I were you, what I would probably do is work on rehoming them. If it takes you 3 months to rehome them, you'll be fine. And then goldfish are fun, so I would replace them with like some sort of fancy goldfish that stays smaller. And then put 3 fancy goldfish in a 55 and it'll be a fun tank. Zen says, Matt, the standard is 20 gallons per goldfish, at least for fancy goldfish. Typically, comments are more like small koi. You need more space to swim around. Each person is different, though. Yeah, I remember, like, a lot of people having comments, and they never got, like, massive, but I know comments can get up to fairly large, so that's why I would prepare. Prepare for a rehome once they get too big for your 55. Okay, so perfect. Texas Fish Room put in, my 1-year-old comet is about 14 inches long. So they do get big. Zen said, my mouse is covering. At SC, had Texas freeze blackout, no heat or air for 3 days. Oh, I forgot you're in Texas. One of my angels is not right. Sleeps on the ground now and has trouble swimming up, but eats fine. Continued. He can make it to the top and hangs out with his female mate still, but always floats back down. Can I do anything? Sleeps on the ground now. Now, is he vertical and he's just on the bottom, or is he listing over to the side? Like, I would say if he's vertical, it wouldn't really be a swim bladder issue. His air bladder maybe floats back down. So he is vertical. Well, at least he's vertical. So if he was going onto his sides, I could be like, all right, he's having troubles balancing himself. I mean, it could be his swim bladder. I honestly don't know how to treat a swim bladder issue in something other than like a goldfish. Because I know a goldfish, you can feed them peas to help like clear out their system, and especially if they get constipated and they can swallow air and the air gets trapped in them and could cause swim bladder issues or just flotation issues. So being with an angel. So angel's a cichlid. I mean, I would try some salt. I think for me, I would get I don't know how big the angel is, but if you have a 5-gallon tank or a 10-gallon tank, and make it a little hospital tank. I have a 20-gallon tank that I do this for. I've only done it once, so the tank's been sitting empty. It's a brand new tank. I use salt water in a separate tank, so that way I'm not taxing plants, because salt water will kill plants. You could try salt water. Because that might be too much. You can try medications to see if he's got something going on inside of him. If he got some sort of infection from temperature swing somehow. I don't have a good answer other than salt does amazing things a lot of the time. So I would probably try salt for me versus guessing and throwing meds. But the 3 medication, the med trio is a good start. But I would probably start with salt and see if it's some sort of infection going on. But honestly, I'm not sure with an angelfish. Dr. Black, good to see you. GRB's here, good to see you too. Catherine says that, Matt, I would suggest building a pond for them. Might go in a 200-gallon pond for the warm months and come in for the winter. And if you guys saw my email this week, I haven't told anybody on YouTube, but speaking of ponds, there is something I am building. I ordered steel, and I'm not sure how long that will take, but I ordered steel, and I'm doing I guess above ground pond, like a tank. And it's kind of like a precursor is what I ordered it as in the email to the fish room build. So I'm doing this outside in my backyard for some koi. So I want to, a YouTube member of my channel messaged me about some high quality koi that they have and that they've been breeding, but it's just now they have so many of them that they want to give me the adults. And I was like, I never kept koi, so it kind of spawned me into spawn. Is that like a fish pun? See what I did there? Anyways, spawned me into designing and building a tank, and right now, and let me use the gallon calculator, make sure I have this correct. I put the gallons in the email, but I just want to make sure I'm correct. And for calculating gallons, if you ever build like a custom tank, I just Google search aquarium gallon calculator, and it's fishtankguide.net is who I use. And all you do is you type in the tank width, height, and depth, and it converts everything for you and tells you how many gallons. Where? Oh, I guess I gotta type in the depth. I was like, why is it not showing me? 3,830 gallons. 3,800. I said 3,800 gallons, so that's the design. Now it is kind of I don't want to say modular. I could cut it in half, so I could do half that volume or the full 3,800 gallons. That is strictly for these koi fish I want to get from this YouTube member. I told him I can't take them right now. I do have the 500-gallon pond out back, but it's frozen. And I can't put fish into a 500-gallon pond that's frozen because it's just going to shock them. They're going to die. So I said we got to wait until it warms up to where I can match the temperatures that they're used to what's outside. So that's coming. Dr. Black said, what's that fish whose swim bladder is considered a delicacy or ancient medication? Can we round all those people who believe that mumbo jumbo up and educate them? I have no idea. Aquarium Domain says, how many of those $50 big swords do you have for sale? Well, if you want to give me $50, I have 2 of them. Yeah, those things have been, I've been growing those now for a year and a half or 2 years maybe. They were like the first swords I got. I put them into my indoor like plywood build tank. And that tank got covered with duckweed, and I kind of forgot that they were in there, and they grew out, like, you know, they fanned out, because obviously that tank's only, 10 inches deep or so. So, you know, they're definitely taller than 10 inches, so, yeah. I mean, if you want to give me $50 for one, I'll sell you one. Buy 2 for $100, I'll ship them for free. Anyways. Alright. We are past the hour mark. And I did see a notification that LRB just went live. And, I know I always say, you know, I'll try to go live at OFR. We'll see how tomorrow goes. When I was up there the last time, I did get Josh's secret Wi-Fi password so I can get on their Wi-Fi. So maybe I'll do a live stream tomorrow afternoon. Aquarium Domain says, sold, I will shoot you an email. Aquarium Domain, my email is sales@614fish.com. Thank you very much. But, anyways, I'll try, the Melheads, Mr. and Mrs. Melhead Prime are at OFR right now. So, maybe I'll try to do a live stream tomorrow with them and, Big Rich and Josh and whoever else is up there. I think Kathy, I heard, was going to be there, and I don't know who else. I'm not sure. All I know is Big Rich said that moderators and stuff are going to come up and hang out, and I said, cool, count me in, I'm down. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, tonight, this week, and maybe I'll see you live tomorrow. Bob Kaler's live too. Bob usually, didn't he stream on Wednesday? I mean, not that I care, like, go live whenever. But Bob Kaler's live as well, if anybody wants to check him out. And anyways, guys, keep tanking along. I'm going to go hang out with the pups. maybe I'll see you tomorrow at Ohio Fish Rescue. Thank you so much for the super chats. Matt, thank you. You super chat me like every single week with the 614 super chat. Appreciate you so much, bud. Chevy Fish, IHSP, all my moderators, I appreciate what you guys do for me. And thanks. And buy some 614 FERT. It's in stock. Buy it. All right, I'll see you guys. Have a good weekend. Peace.